Welcome to Education in Focus. I'm Eliana Kernodle. As the school year begins across the country, some schools are concerned about what that might mean for immigration enforcement on their campuses. Joining me to tell us more about this is the Center Square's education reporter, Esther Wickham. Esther, LA in particular has been taking some measures related to immigration enforcement. What are they doing?
Yeah, thanks, Aliana. So, as you said, students are heading back to school this week, and in a way to take proactive measures, proactive steps, specifically Southern California in the county of Los Angeles, a lot of schools, specifically the Los Angeles Unified School District, have taken a lot of steps towards protecting students from federal immigration agents on campus. This has come after an increased fear in the Trump administration's act to increase deportation, protecting Americans from these illegal immigrants, as the Trump administration has stated. And so these students are, in a sense, fearful of these immigration and customs enforcement agents. And we've seen, stories throughout the past couple of months of this happening. And so now this is kind of slightly bled into schools. And, one example, last week, federal agents detained a 15-year-old boy outside of his Los Angeles high school. And this really outraged a lot of families, a lot of parents, and a lot of educator officials, saying that, these immigration raids within schools are not a place for where children should be learning. They should be focusing on education. They should not be fearful of going to school. But, these teachers and these parents have said, because of these heightened immigration raids, this is what students are afraid of. They're afraid to go to school. They're afraid to learn. And so because of this, Superintendent of Los Angeles Unified School District, Alberto Carvalho, has stated, this there should be a restriction on ICE coming near schools, and students deserve to focus on their education. This is a high priority for him. And so we've seen the past couple of weeks, Los Angeles Unified School District have taken some steps in restricting ICE on campus, and that they'll continue to do so. He said in a statement shortly after that one 15-year-old boy was detained. He was shortly released after because of the pushback that ICE received. But he said, Carvalho said, as students return to school, we are calling on every community partner to help ensure that our classrooms remain a place of learning and belonging. Children have been through enough, from the pandemic to natural disasters, hearkening to the fact of the Palisade fires we saw in Los Angeles at the beginning of the year. And they should not have to carry the added weight of fear when walking through their school gates. As an additional precaution to this, the Los Angeles Unified School District have also provided online classes for students that are too afraid or not able to attend class in person. So that is also an option that students can take. But two specific resources that the schools have provided to students are specifically the Know Your Rights cards. The Center Square reported on this a few weeks back. And they're essentially physical laminated cards that will be given to students for them to be better equipped to respond to ICE enforcement. So, these are young children. They don't really have the emotional and just kind of vulnerable ability to have a engaging and important conversation with these ICE agents because they are very young. So for Los Angeles Unified School District, this is a way to have these students communicate to the ICE agents, they what they believe, what their rights are, and what they can do to better ensure that their children are being protected, and where the ICE agents stand when they are approaching those kids on campus. Another thing is recently there's a Senate bill, Senate Bill 98, also known as the Sending Alerts to Families in Education, or Act, and it's authored by Senator Sasha Renee Perez, who's a Democrat for the city of Pasadena here in Los Angeles. And essentially, this bill is already being practiced by the Los Angeles Unified School District, but this bill would essentially be required by all schools in the greater state of California. And it would require a notice from immigration enforcement letting these California schools know that ICE is coming onto campus. So instead of just showing up, just kind of automatic, out of the blue, chaotic, raids or arrests, these California schools would be notified beforehand. So when I reached out to the Los Angeles Unified School District, they said that this is already something they practice on top of offering online classes, giving the students the Know Your Rights cards. And so with this additional bill, if it is passed, for the greater state of California, will be just an additional thing that these school districts for the K through 12 education system will be enacting to further protect their students from immigration enforcement.
And this isn't the only school district that, has kind of worked with ICE. There's also one in Nevada as well. Could you tell us about that?
Yeah, so the fifth biggest school district, the Clark County School District, the Center Square reported on this last week. They have also struck a deal with ICE, and ICE has agreed to not conduct raids or arrests in schools, specifically in Las Vegas, but also in other surrounding counties. So as you can see, as the story progresses, we're probably going to see this more in other states, probably more so specifically progressive states that will, enact these resources, enact these agreements with ICE to just further get ICE out of schools and allow these students to just come to school without fear of getting detained or getting deported or anything like that. So yeah, aside from California, you can see that also in Nevada.
And back to California, this isn't happening just in K through 12. There's also concerns about it on the college level and steps being taken by different universities. Can you tell us a little about that?
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of other universities where this is happening, but specifically the story that I wrote about and reported on was specifically California State University of Los Angeles. They have also provided an online form that students can fill out if they are approached by ICE agents on campus. So essentially on the university's website, there's two things that students have to do if an ICE agent approaches them. The first thing is to notify the Cal State LA designees immediately. And if it's an emergency or if they feel like they're going to be harmed, there is like a campus safety 911 number that they can call. So that's something that they also encourage the students to do if they feel unsafe, if they're approached by an ICE agent. But if the officer is requesting information or documents from them, the website points them to fill out this form depicting the incident. So at the beginning of the form, it says, for students to put their contact information, their name, their email, their phone number. And then as it goes on, it requests a detailed encounter of what happened. So much so that they request the name and the badge number of the immigration officer that approached them, as well as their contact information, and then essentially description of the request, what happened when the ICE agent or immigration enforcement official approached you. What did that look like? And then towards the end, it doesn't really describe what it is, but one could only assume there's a file kind of attachment you can add to this form. So if you have pictures or if you have a video, I'm assuming, of the event or incident, you can upload it there. And then from there on, there could be further action taken, or a conversation or an investigation into the events of why this ICE agent was on campus, why they were asking for these documents, and so on and so forth. And so when reaching out to Cal State University, they told me that CSU is going to remain committed to ensuring that these resources and these specifically academic opportunities are available to students. They don't want to be they don't want to restrict their students from learning, and they even said they want all students, regardless of their immigration status, to have opportunities within schools and not feel restricted or barred, and that this school will continue to do everything they can to support the undocumented community. So, like them, along with other Los Angeles Unified School District and other school districts, they will continue to support this community and try and ensure that at the end of the day, education is education, and these students should feel seen and supported to come to school to learn and not have that continuous fear or looking over their shoulder of what's going to happen with immigration enforcement on the rise.
Well, Esther, thank you for your insights on this story. Listeners can keep up with this story and more at thecentersquare.com.